Hey everyone, a Nerd Day Mark here, and guess what? I'm going to be reviewing King-Ohger, episode 1. I believe it's what, Ohsama SentaI King-Ohger, but it's like Royal Sentai King-Ohger. I'm just going King-Ohger. That's what I'm calling it. Sorry if I sound weird. I can't really hear my voice because like I got my ear situation fixed. I'm still regaining my hearing, and there's a little discomfort. So like I feel like in my own head, my voice is echoing. Yeah. But as you know, I am not the Sentai guy. I have finished Don Brothers. I have watched Lupat, Rio Soldier, Zenkaiser, and Q Ranger. I just started Die Ranger, and then after that, I believe Ninja was the one that was recommended that I check out next. So obviously, my knowledge of Super Sentai is very minimalistic. I will never claim to be an expert. Hell, I've seen all but 2 seasons of Kamen Rider, which I haven't finished. I've actually started them, and I don't even consider myself an expert on Kamen Rider. I'm not an expert on Toku at all. I just enjoy this stuff. So I'm gonna get some tropes wrong with Super Sentai or anything like that because I don't really know the tropes of it. Like, I think I've seen more seasons of Power Rangers than I have Super Sentai, but it is getting pretty close now. Um, but that being said, I I really enjoyed this episode. We have Sony, the VFX, like the green screen work they're using is what they used on Mandalorian. Everything looked really good. Obviously, having watched it, Kaiser and Don Brothers, I got used to that CG style. I didn't hate it. It worked for the characters and this and that. Um, but yeah, this was just. I want to know what the freaking budget was, honestly, cause, per episode, because that ain't cheap. I'm just saying. So long ago, 2,000 years to be exact, there are 5 heroes and their guardian, the King Ohger, and they join together to defeat the Bugnarok to save humanity. After that, those 5 heroes, with each with their mecha, started their own kingdoms. And then there's a prophecy that said 2,000 years, the Bugnarok would appear from their sleep again, and conveniently, it's 2,000 years later. So the whole, like, my favorite thing about this is as they're introducing each set kingdom, because they showed the mecha splitting off and landing in each one, the aerial shots, everything looked so good. Like I said, I need to know what this budget was because even the Shugodon, Shugag, Shu, Shugan. I'm gonna butcher that. I'm gonna say Red Kingdom. There's a festival underway, so we see this cool panning around, showing the city. You could see the god Kuwata mecha like rusted in the town center, um, and I was like, that looked really cool. Uh, the thing is, we're gonna do a signatory ceremony, where all the real 5 different rulers are gonna meet there, which is why there's a festival going on. And then, like I said, we get introduced to each one individually, and like a quick little aerial shot of their kingdom. We got Queen Himeno, which is yellow from Ishabana, the Flopatal capital, and even her retainer saying, "Hey, it's time to leave," and she's like, "No, I can't. I'm literally." She's putting her makeup on, and I'm sitting here watching this, and I'm like, if you watched the Tokutonic Shift, where Mizio, uh, Deoxy, and Cloudy all were talking about King-Ohger, and before it came out and this and that, and our thoughts on it, I said, I'm not gonna simp. I'm not going to simp. And then obviously I was like, all right, I'm a simp, you know? Like, I don't know, like, there's a certain, like, crass, like, I can't, we're on my time. And I really enjoyed that from that character because we didn't get too much of each character's personality in this episode, just enough to kind of see an overview of what they are. Because then next we got, was it Tofau, the Takate castle for Lord Kaguragi, who is our black Sentai. And he's sitting there, rice ball. He's pleased with their harvest and their crop this season. Drip King. His drip, oh, like I'm gonna call him Drippy Longstocking because his drip is just that good, and it stands out too. So he's one of those, and his personality matches what he's wearing because he like really enjoy the brief amount of time we've seen from him in this episode. Then we get the mysterious and like really like not really few words. Rita of Gokon, who is our purple Sentai, she gives me that like strong silent type vibes. She's not gonna sit there and mix words. She's not gonna give you long drawn out monologues. There's that air of mystery. I always enjoy those types of characters. Um, like I said, I'm not a Sentai guy fully. Like I haven't watched a lot, but like from anime, manga, even movies, everything else, those characters are always the most interesting because there's usually a moment where you do get one the backstory of why their personalities like this, and two, you get that moment when they finally are just like, you know what, and then they go on a tirade. I call it the Silent Bob effect from Kevin Smith's films, like Silent Bob nodding, never says anything, and then he goes on a diatribe like monologue, and it's always something that really is meaningful when they do say something. And then next up, my favorite looking kingdom. It's Nakasopa, and it's the Peta Castle for Yanma Prez. Who, oh my god, his like you could just tell by body language, the way he speaks. There's that arrogance to him. And I love that in characters. Also, even his retainer says, "I gotta go with you." He's like, "I don't need you." He's like, "Yeah, but you're gonna." He's like, "I gotta tag along, or you're gonna end up picking fights." And so instead, I'm like, "All right, Blue, that's my guy. If I'm a sim for yellow, Blue is gonna be that one where I'm just like, that is the character. That's a good character." There are some cool shots, a lot of cool shots in this show. Oh my god. When they all arrive, there's a slow-mo shot of them all walking together, and then it pans in on each one slowly walking. I thought that was really cool. You could even see like, everyone just like, oh, that's that person. It's like they made them feel like they are royalty. Like you get the vibe watching this from how they cut, how they film, how they even their body language, they are rulers of their kingdoms. And then we finally get introduced to Jira, our main red character. Um, and he's playing with some kids at an orphanage. He's playing the villain. And there's one line that um, stuck with me. And that's me really speculating because, the kids were playing their sticks. Like, oh, it's the Ohsama caliber. And uh, he even says, oh, it's a legendary sword of kings that can only be used by true royalty. And I'm like, this was not a throwaway line. And my favorite thing about that is because he does, obviously get the sword. So now we can speculate, why can he use it? What is true royalty? Is it royalty by blood? Is it royalty by position? Or how you feel like, are you that king? Like, stepping up and being a royalty and not being that by blood. So the main point is of everyone joining is the Quintet Kingdom Alliance, which is, being prepared in anticipation of the Ragnarok. Rackley's Hasty, the king of the Red Kingdom. I don't know how I feel about him. He kind of seems like a dick. Not gonna. I'm just gonna put. He's douchey. He's not arrogant in a good way. He's just a dick. Okay. Um, and after everything, everyone draws their swords and holds them up, except for my boy Yanma. He's just like, nah. He's like, why do you have to take control over the King-Ohger? Why are you like, what's your real alternative? Like, what's your goal? Why do you want, like, And even he says it. Am I not the one who showed you how to use the God Guada to produce electricity for your own kingdom? Like, he's like, yo, I hooked you up. Like, who? Don't forget who got you where you are. Who helped with this kingdom? And um, obviously the Ragnarok is up here. I'm just like, bro, why is this Attack on Titan right now? Like, and I'm not the biggest Attack on Titan fan because of how long it took for all the seasons to come out. I read the manga, but I was like, yo, this is Attack on Titan, and I'm all for it. And we see our main antagonist. I don't know his name because I forgot it already, but he's giving me like Emperor Belial style vibes. I think it's the red collar and the shoulder stuff, but I was like, yo, I'm gonna like him just because Belial is one of my favorite Ultraman characters, and I can kind of get some Belial vibes from his design a bit. So I'm like, And so now, they're attacking the walls. We see them on them. We get a quick little henshin transformation, not fully in detail, of black, yellow, and purple, while blue is just watching on. Um, the fighting, the camera panning and the special effects and everything looked so damn clean. My God, the like I know that I could nitpick at some of the visual effects in the snap, but I'm not going to, because when it worked and it looked crisp and clean, it was damn good. Like I'm hoping, listen, Toei, if you want to do something like this with Kamen Rider, I'm okay with that. Hell, this was Super. I need some of this for Ultraman too. I'm just saying, I love Ultraman, big Ultraman fan, but like this is the future of Toku right now with this filming style. Um, so Gira, the cool thing about Gira is like he's sitting there, and this is more of Rackley's personality, because Gira's sitting there like, where's the king? Why isn't he out here? We see yellow, you see black, you see purple. Why isn't red? Why isn't Rackley's out here to defend his kingdom and defend his people? And even his friend, I think Kogane, gets attacked, and he's dealing with her, and yellow shows up, makes a save, says she'll watch over him. She says escape. Nope. He goes to the throne room, and even he confronts Rackley. He's like, yo, why did you helping everybody? What's going on with this? And he's like, listen, he's like, it's such a tragedy and a meaningful sacrifice of this town being destroyed. It even tries to blame Myanmar, because he rejected the awakening of God Kawagata. Yeah, Kawagata. And I was like, damn. And then he even proclaims that after the Bugnark are defeated, he will invade Blue's city in the name of justice. Then he's going to do that for all of Terra, and true peace will only be wrought by absolute power. Yeah, he's a dick, okay? Just saying. He's a dick. And I'm going to sneeze. All right, I sneezed. But yeah. And he even says, like, the Kosopo Pa is just a start. He's going to go kingdom to kingdom and make them all under his control and under his banner. And I'm like, douche. But you're super just like, what the hell? Like, and he lunges at him, and you think like he misses and falls. And then Rackley's like, where's my sword? And next you know, Gira's got the sword on him, points it at him, and the king, it makes him, and he even says, pointing a sword at a king makes you an enemy of the world. And then in the best like body language, mannerisms, you see Gira go from like a serious look, like what did I just do, to the smirk, and then he goes on his little rant about becoming the villain. And it's just like when he was with the kids, when he was pretending to be the villain. And I was just like, all right. And then he holds up the sword, and it actually awakens God Kugawada, and the rust and everything breaks off of it. And I was like, all right, this is intriguing now. And then we get one of the most elaborate, badass, like, henshins. They're henshin. I mean, it's a transform, so it's henshin. In Super Sentai that I've seen, anyways. And he has to hit the little doohickey thingies on there, and the Ohsama caliber, and he becomes a red Sentai. And that scene was so cool looking. And then next, he's inside of the God Kuwagata, and I'm not gonna lie, the music through all this slaps. Okay, the music they picked for this episode from almost every scene when there's music playing, so good and just delicious. And then even we get big mecha versus big meaty monsters. Okay, I love fighting. I love big mechas and meaty monsters and big meaty kaijus. I love it so much. And so the cool thing about all this is like the cockpit inside, like exoskeleton style, so good. It gives me vibes of like Pacific Rim, and just that inside of the suit. And it was actually designed and created by a real company that does that stuff. So I was like, shit. Okay, you guys stepped up the quality. Like, this is blowing my mind. The budget put in, everything put into this season. When you look at the last two seasons, and I'm not saying they're bad, because Dawn Brothers right now is number one on my ranking of all the Super Sentai I've watched, but it looked so good. Like the various fighting, even like the Shoe Gods, the little mini ones, like he was able to. They have little abilities too. One of the spider ones hit web on the monster, and he was able to attack it. There's even a cool attack where like there's an explosion, and he was going to fight, and the sword was on fire, and I was like, what is all of this going on? And there's so much CG in this and some minor practical effects, and I'm just like, it's blowing my mind, because this mecha fight was that good. And the final attack was delicious. Okay, that was such a clean looking battle. Like, I was like, all right, you have my attention. And then the episode ends with a narrator saying this is a story of kings and a man who would one day become king. And I was like, ooh, a little foreshadowing right there. And Rackley is a scene saying the name, like, he's like, oh, the name of the rebel is Gira. And as soon as he is captured, he is to be executed. And we see Gira standing there with a sword out and all the king's little minion people around him as, red, blue, purple are looking on. I'm very intrigued. Like, this episode was so good. I just, like, I'm going to repeat myself. And if I sound like a broke record, what is that budget? Seriously. Like, this, like, I get hyped for Kamen Rider. I don't think I've ever, like, I try every year when Super Sentai comes out, I try and watch, like, the first 4 episodes. I'll try and review at least 2 or 3 of them. But there hasn't really been a season where, like, after the first episode, I'm just like, sign me up. Like, this might be the season that's like, all right, Mark, you need to watch more Super Sentai. You need to watch all Super Sentai. You need to, like, this is, like, different than what I've seen in Toku. And I'm all for it. Yes, you could say there's things from, like, Attack on Titan, Fire Emblem, all these inspirations in the show, but from a straightforward Toku show, I've not seen a debut episode like this in, I don't think, ever. But I really enjoyed it. But I don't want to take too much of your time. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of King-Ohger episode 1. Are you hooked? Are you on board? What do you think? I'm not even speculating about anything. I'm just going to watch this week to week and just enjoy it. It's not going to be like Geats or anything else where I'm going to come up with all these theories and rants. I possibly will at some point, but because it just started, I'm just enjoying it. I'm on the ride. I'm just sitting back and just going forward. Thank you guys for watching. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. I'm looking forward to doing more Super Sentai content just because it's one of those franchises that, like, I want to get into more. And I've been trying, and I've been taking everyone's recommendations and watching, and no one has steered me wrong with recommendations. So if you have some, leave them in the comment below as well. And like I said, I thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like the video, and I will see you guys in the next one.